Maria Bartiromo from Fox Business got punked today, and she later had to issue an apology because she thought she was interviewing the CEO of a meat processing company, which, by the way, has a South Dakota plant that had 900 workers contact coronavirus. So not good news. But in reality, the guest that she was talking to was not the CEO of a meat packing company or processing company. I mean, it was Matt Johnson from the animal rights group Direct Action Everywhere. She didn't realize it, and it was great. So let's take a quick look at how that interview went down.
Joining me right now is the CEO of Smithfield Foods, Dennis Organ. Dennis, it's great to have you this morning. Thanks very much for joining us. Can you tell us where you are in terms of that rash of coronavirus cases that hit your South Dakota operation?
Well, Merry Christmas, Maria. Thank you so much for having me on. And I really do want to emphasize the heroic efforts of these folks. They've been getting sick for, really just trying to provide for their families. Frankly, we might bear some responsibility for that. In addition to the outbreaks that are happening at our plants, our industry poses a serious threat in effectively bringing on the next pandemic. With CDC data showing that 3 or 4 infectious diseases come from animals, and the conditions inside of our farms can sometimes be petri dishes for new diseases. Hog farming also causes immense harm to our air and waterways. We're actually pledging now $500 million a year starting in 2021 to mitigate some of these impacts.
It was so good. He went on for about 6 minutes without breaking character. And the entire time you can see Maria Bartiromo thinking to herself, oh my God, Smithfield Foods, sell immediately.
Did she, was that one question that he responded to?
No.
Or did she ask him multiple, she engaged?
Multiple questions, yeah,
okay,
she
good.
engaged.
Yeah, he did a good job. He tried to hide it. Like, it just says so much, first of all, about the fact that there was apparently no checking, which sure, you could break TDR or whatever in that way, but you would imagine that TV would have a little bit more fact checking or whatever, but apparently not. I guess we're all the same at the end of the day. Oh, that's kind of nice.
No, stop. You got to give yourself more credit than that, because the way we operate at TYT is so different from television news. Like, we have to do a ton of research on our own. Yes, we have producers helping us, thankfully, and they do great work. But like,
I'm just joking.
No, I know, but like, I want people to understand that like we don't read teleprompters, and I love that because that forces us to actually know what we're talking about. With Maria Bartiromo, she's like, okay, yeah. So tell me about what's happening with this our latest rash of coronavirus.
Yeah. But also her response to it, yeah, exactly. As he's going, she was getting visibly like uncomfortable because a CEO was saying something that could be damaging to industry. Her getting uncomfortable says so much about what she believes her role in the media is supposed to be, and in particular on Fox Business. It's not about informing people about the business world. It is just advancing the interests of those industries, or else she would consider what she's doing right there. Like, if you had the CEO on and he was actually the CEO, and she has no reason at that point to suspect, other than the fact that he's saying something that could be damaging, that he's not. This would be an amazing get by you, a journalist who's really getting to the truth of what's happening in these industries. But she's uncomfortable about the fact that she might be exposing the truth, because the truth isn't the interest. The interest is ever rising stock prices. So anyway, I just think her physical reaction is so illuminating.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you're right. She does seem uncomfortable, not just in like her body language and her facial expressions, but she keeps trying to like cut in.
Yeah.
Like, like the entire time. So yes, I genuinely think she was thinking about her own stock portfolio. I don't know. That's just my speculation. But of course, after realizing that she had been duped, she had to issue an apology. So let's take a look at how that went down.
It appears we have been punked. Earlier in the program, I interviewed someone claiming to be the CEO of Smithfield Foods, Dennis Organ. We've since learned that was not Dennis Organ, but an imposter making false claims about the company. He is someone who has absolutely no relation to Smithfield Foods. We want to apologize to Dennis Organ, Smithfield Foods, and to our audience for making this mistake. We will, of course, be more vigilant. That'll do it for us. Varney Company begins right now.
You're not going to be more vigilant. They're not vigilant about anything. Like, that's why it was so easy to dupe them.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying that anyone else should try, but it would be funny if it happened again. Anyway, 100%. Yeah, it's just like, what is she? I don't even understand what the audience for shows like that is. Like businessmen really watching it? Like they're watching Lou Dobbs for their business news? Who is actually watching Fox Business? Is it just more Fox? Look, I think it's just more Fox.
I don't know about Fox Business specifically, but one of the things that I was watching recently was this CNBC video on the day that the market crashed in 2008. And so it's Aaron Burnett and some other guy, I don't know. And they're like at the New York Stock Exchange, right? And there's like a bunch of people behind them. The name of the show was Opening Bell. And so they're just standing there in this like crowded room with a bunch of commotion. I don't understand what like really happens in these situations, right? You have like the hey, they're like yelling at each other and they're making calls and there's all this commotion's happening behind the scenes. Opening bell, you see what the numbers are, you see what the Dow is, and it's just it opens incredibly low and it just keeps going lower and lower and lower and low. And literally the whole point of these two CNBC hosts, Aaron Burnett included, is to just like regurgitate what the numbers are. That's all they do. And it's like it reminds me of weather reports, like local news weather reports, where you have like a scantily clad weather girl who's like telling you what the temperature is, and it's like, why do I need to watch this? I mean, I know why some people watch it, but like, why do I can just check my 78 degrees outside. Let's move on. We're done. We're done with it. Yeah. But I feel the same thing about these CNBC shows where they're just like regurgitating numbers from the stock market, and it's like, okay. But anyway, the best part about that video was as they were noticing that, the market wasn't doing well, they were in complete denial. It took them like 30 minutes to finally acknowledge that, like, oh yeah, stock market crashed. It's an incredible video. I'll find it eventually and show it to the audience in the post game. But it's incredible. Anyway, I do want to just quickly mention that more than 900 workers at the meatpacking plant in South Dakota were infected with coronavirus. Reminds me of the Tyson story that we've shared with you, the Tyson meatpacking plant in Waterloo, where the employers there are being sued for wrongful death. So many of their employees contracted the virus and later died. So it shows how quickly the virus spreads, especially in these meatpacking plant environments. And so an interview like that with the CEO of Smithfield Foods would actually be fantastic on an outlet like ours, because we'd want to ask some real questions. But yeah.
We should launch a business show, TYT Business, but it's actual critical coverage of what's going on with major industries in America. Like, isn't it a novel idea that you'd have a thematic focus on a bit of news and it wouldn't just be fluff pieces and fluffing? Yeah. Almost literally.
Yeah, it would be. Yeah, I would love to do a show like that. It would be hard to get guests on it, at least guests from industry, but I think that would be a fantastic show and I would love to do it.
Thanks for watching The Young Turks, really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat, emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR. So those are super fun, but you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.